Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
You ready, Mike?
I'm ready. Let's go.
We ready, y'all. It's Monday. It's Monday.
Woohoo!
Woo! I made it through the day. I'm acting excited, y'all, but they wore me out at work today. But I'm glad to see y'all. I'm glad to be here. We here every Monday at 8 o'clock. I'm so excited about tonight's topic, toxic relationships. Before we get into that, my co-host, I love y'all. Y'all know I do. Y'all be rocking with me, and I appreciate that. Dion and Michael, tell me about y'all
Woo!
weekend. How y'all
Peace.
doing today?
I'm doing good. Blessed.
I'm doing great. Doing
Y'all
great.
have a
Ready to
good
go.
week since the last time we talked. What, you ready for the topic, Mike?
Yeah. This is important. It's real important.
It really is. This is probably going to have to be some themes for the rest of the month as I was thinking about toxic relationships. I can't wait to get into this either.
Yeah.
Um, I had a good week. I had a good week. I had a okay weekend, and then they wore me out today. So I'm a little tired, but I'm ready to get into this. And so we're not going to hesitate because there's a lot to talk about. And again, I don't even know that we're going to get through all of this tonight, but toxic
Yeah.
relationships. I want to first make sure we're all on the same playing field and define toxic. Um, you know me, I'm all about definitions. I'm all
I would
about
just say
defining
I
some
got
things.
mine ready.
Go ahead with yours first, Dion. I wrote mine down. I'm looking for it.
All right. Well, of course, toxic is saying that it's a dumping. Toxic can be something that you dump, waste. All right. It's very harmful. It's unpleasant. In a passive or insidious way. So toxic is just what it says that it is. It's something that poisons something or something that kills something. So a person that's toxic can be abusive, they can be unsupportive, they can be unhealthy emotionally. Someone who basically brings you down more than up. You may begin to feel dependent on him or her for options, doubting your own, and yeah, there you go.
Them babies want to be on the podcast.
The babies, yeah, they coming flying down the steps. I'm gonna have to put y'all on mute because they fixing to act up. I just told their mama they need to get them. Okay, I got one running around here with no clothes on.
I'll
Okay,
put you on mute. Go ahead, Mike. Toxic
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah, we're gonna go with what Dion just she set it up well. Toxic itself is something that can kill. And in relationships, if you're in a toxic relationship, it'll kill your spirit, it'll kill your hopes, it'll kill your dreams, it'll kill your self-esteem, it'll kill your self-worth. So we don't per se use toxic in therapy, we say unhealthy. But as I have said many times, unhealthy relationships are bad, but I think there's a whole nother degree of bad when you say toxic. If you really met a person in a toxic relationship, you will be able to spot them 9 times out of 10. They're usually looking sullen and sad. Skin is not doing well, maybe overweight, underweight, don't care about how they look. Just this relationship is absolutely sucking the life out of them. And you could see it. So that's what I think of when I hear the word toxic. It is designed to kill.
So I have a question before I go into my definition, because it sounds to me like you're saying there's levels to this thing. There's unhealthy and then there's toxic. So what does that really look like when we talk about there's the difference in that toxic is worse than just unhealthy?
Unhealthy is for me is that what I would say garden variety This person is really not the nicest person. They don't have your best interests at heart. They're selfish. They can be unable to communicate, because they might be themselves unhealthy. Toxic is intentional. They're trying to hurt you. They're
Mm.
trying to destroy you. They don't want you to get ahead. They don't want you to achieve. They don't want you to feel good about yourself. There is so toxic sometimes. They are upset with your relationship with God. They don't want you to have no other relationship but the relationship you have with them. And the one you have with them is horrible. So unhealthy and toxic, yeah, there's a different degree. Toxic to me is very intentional. Unhealthy could be, unintentional. I didn't know that she felt like that or he felt that way. But toxic, yeah, I knew they felt like that. And that's the way I wanted it. It's intentional. It's horrible. That's why you hear a lot of people say, girl or man, you need to get out of there. He or she know what they're doing. They know they're hurting you. And here's the thing. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care if you're upset. They don't care if you're sad. They don't care if you're losing weight. They don't care if your hair falling out. They don't care. That's toxic.
Wow, that's crazy. And it's crazy that you said they don't care your hair is falling out, because I've been in a relationship that I was so stressed that it was with my daughter's father. I was so stressed. I remember my hair was falling out. I never knew your hair could fall out from stress. So I can actually relate to that. But here's what I have written down.
What you got?
Um, a toxic relationship is any relationship, whether with family, friends, co-workers, business partners, it really doesn't matter. It's just a relationship where a partner is emotionally and or physically damaging to the other. It's a relationship where they do not support each other, where there's conflict and one seeks to undermine the other, where there's competition, where there's disrespect, and a lack of cohesiveness, and probably a whole lot more. That was my definition of a toxic relationship. It's damaging to you, it's draining to you. And I guess for me, it didn't really matter in my definition whether it was intentional or unintentional. It's just the fact that these behaviors of within the relationship is just destroying who a person is, and it's destroying their sense of self, and it's destroying their mental and emotional sobriety, as we always talk about.
Yeah, it's killing you. That's what toxic is. It's killing you.
And it slowly kills you.
Yeah. From the inside out.
Right. And so, it's like when we watch these movies, where folks, well, I have a good example. I remember in Cleveland, all these people kept getting sick because there was mold in their basements. And it didn't just the mold didn't just the mold was down there, but it didn't just make them sick. Like, it was a slow death. People started dying, but it was slow. They was getting sick. They was having respiratory issues, and no one was figuring out that it was the mold. And I think we've seen movies like that with Aaron Brockovich. But things is happening to you, and it's just like a slow death. And sometimes I think toxic relationships can be the same way. It's a slow death. It's not like all at once, but it chips away. It just chips away at at who you are, your mentality and your emotions, and your spirituality, and it chips away at your enthusiasm and your hope and your faith, until one day you look up and it's like, I'm drained, I'm tired, I can't do no more.
Yeah. Oftentimes you may not be aware that you're in an unhealthy relationship, but you definitely know when you're in a toxic one. There is no, oh, well, he just, trying to, how we do. Sometimes we try to come to the defense, not in a toxic relationship. In a toxic relationship, you know it. Oftentimes you just don't know how to get out. In an unhealthy one, it's almost like leaving someone sick and you're walking away. There's a part of you that want to help them. But in toxic, like I said, it's intentional. You just don't know how to walk away from this person. So You know you in it. There is no, wow, I didn't know I was in it. Yes, you do. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When he or she is hiding the keys from you, calling you out your name constantly, withholding food from you, won't let you use the cell phone to call your mama, to call your dad, to call your friends. Oh yeah, this is toxic. And you
Or
know it. You
sabotage you from going to work, sabotage you from going to
everything.
school.
Yeah. You know
But
it.
how
But
does
in
someone not know that they're in an unhealthy relationship, though? How do you not know that some things are unhealthy?
because it's not intentional. He or she may not be intentionally trying to hurt you. They just don't know how to
But
communicate.
but but they're not intentionally trying to hurt you, but you're still feeling hurt. So how does the person who's getting hurt not know that this is unhealthy?
Is it toxic or unhealthy? I'm talking two things.
Unhealthy. Yeah, I know. So you
Unhealthy.
said if you're in a toxic relationship, you'll know that you're in a toxic relationship. But sometimes you don't always know that you're in an unhealthy relationship. And I'm saying, how do you not know? Like that person may not be intentionally trying to hurt you, but you're getting hurt. So at some
Okay,
point, you have
so
to know that this is unhealthy.
I would equate it to a stomach ache and ulcer. If you ever had an ulcer, there's no doubt that something is really wrong with your stomach. A stomach ache, you may say, I'm just not really feeling, you see what I'm saying? I'm not really feeling that well. So you kind of do that in relationship. Oh, me and Bobby, we're okay. We have our little bumps in the road, but we're okay. And a toxic, nah, you sitting there saying, girl, I just don't know how to get out. I don't know what to do. You scared, afraid. He got you scared to even call yourself. You scared to dial yourself. You scared to talk to yourself in the mirror because you scared he gonna do something to you. That's toxic. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
I get the definition, but I think I'm a little torn.
Push
Well,
back. Go ahead.
let's look at it on a different angle because I think toxicity, there are levels to it. I do believe. Okay, I think sometimes when people are um, they're not sure of their footing and who they are. They don't have an identity. Their identity is wrapped up in someone else. I think there are different levels when people try to make you responsible for their failures or their lack of, or however, versus somebody just cold out, like Michael is saying, don't want you to talk to your mom, your dad, your siblings, trying to control your life and rule your life in every aspect of the way. I think sometimes, and Michael, you might speak to this. It's toxicity when sometimes men always feel like they have to correct their women, or teach them, or father them, or what have you. I think there are different levels. Just because you think you know the best way or a way to do it doesn't always mean that you should have to correct. And I think some of that is toxicity. It might not be to the detriment that you're speaking of, but it still raises a point that is toxic, and it brings something to you that makes you feel uncomfortable. Um, let's just say, for instance, if you're insecure or you're dealing with rejection, if you're a male or even a female, and then you try to bring it to the relationship and make that person responsible for everything, and then because you want to shove the responsibility on them and make it seem like it's more them than it is you, and not taking on your own responsibility for your own stuff. So would you agree that there could be different levels of toxicity?
I think there's different levels of unhealthiness. I'll use that example where the person corrected his wife. Okay, he corrected her, and he may have corrected her to show her, you was wrong. If she say, "Hey, wasn't it whatever?" I'm making up something. TJ Maxx that went out of business, and you say, "Oh no, 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 it wasn't TJ Maxx. It was J.C. Penney." Right? It went bankrupt. In a toxic relationship, not only will he correct you, but he will make you feel like you're the stupidest chick in the land. Did y'all hear this dumb ass say TJ Maxx? This dummy. I don't even know why I'm still with her. She knows Jay. That's toxic. Unhealthy as he corrects you openly sometimes, and you don't like it, but you may be a little bit afraid, that if you speak up, he may get a little angry. In a toxic relationship, you dare not speak up. Do you know what I'm saying, Angelina? There's a difference.
I, I do. I do, but I'm torn.
Are you
Um,
torn between two lovers feeling like a fool?
oh
Stop it!
God.
Stop! Stop!
I know, right? So here's my thing.
Come on.
We're dealing with intentional and unintentional,
Right.
right?
But the hurt is
But
the
there's
same.
still there's still that level of that you got to consider where the other person is. So you got the I don't even know what to call them, but the offender, I'll just call offender, that is not aware of what they're doing, and then the offender that is, like, they're intentionally doing it. But then you have to consider the level in which the person receiving it is how it's impacting them. Because you can have, I feel like a person can have all of the best intentions, and they're doing things not with any intentions of harming you, but what they're doing is still harming you. And so now you got to look at the level of which it's harming the person who's on the receiving end, right? And if it's damaging them, and if it's messing with their mental, and and it's eating them up inside, because this is a continual thing, then at some point I think that something that was once maybe just unhealthy starts to turn into toxic.
Right. We
And
agree with that. That's an
okay.
agreement. But that's what I'm saying. It starts unhealthy and it can grow to being after a while. Sometimes in a relationship, they just don't care. But it doesn't always, like when you met your child's father, did he present like he was gonna be a problem to you? He probably presented nice and someone that you probably start liking, but it started somewhere in there. He became a little bit unhealthy. Like, and you probably saw it like, whoa, that all right, that was a little different. But you know what? I could deal with that. And oftentimes we do that. You know what? That ain't so bad. All right. He kind of raised his voice a little bit. I'll talk to him about it later. But then, he starts becoming toxic, whether even if you talk to him, he don't care. That's what I'm saying. That lack of care about your feelings. He ain't trying to make you happy. He ain't trying to work with you. He's showing you he or she is showing you exactly. I don't really even care for you. When a person, you could be with a person that quote unquote love you, but they can't stand you. That's toxic. That's
Mhm.
toxic. Yeah. But he loves
Wow,
me.
Mike, you said a mouthful right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they'll tell you that. I love you. You know how many women are walking around with black eyes with men that love them? They love them,
Mm.
but do
Well,
they
that
like
brings
them?
me that brings me to this question then, and I guess I'm gonna go back over it. What happens when you find somebody that claims that they love you and they continue to do the very thing that um, baits you or the thing that disturbs you without considering who they are? What happens when you have one person healed in a relationship and the other one not, and that person is still doing that same old, what appears to be toxic antics or unhealthy antics? I mean, how do you survive in that? And what do you do? Where do you go? What's the direction? What do you do?
With most things, just recognizing that you're in it. That's probably a big part of my job. Oftentimes, many people in relationships will argue me down that they're in a unhealthy relationship. Oh, you just don't know him like I know him. He was in here in the room with us. I heard him call you out your name. Oh, that's just him. But that shouldn't be him. He shouldn't be calling you out of your name. He shouldn't be calling you the B word and this. He's doing that right in front of me. I cringe to think what he do to you when you're at home. So I'm saying just being able to talk them into at least opening up their eyes to see that they're in this bad relationship. And once they begin to see it, then they want to start addressing it. Well, what do I do? The first step is this what you want? Because unfortunately, we are in a world where people will accept that. And to them, because of their upbringing, that's true love. Chaotic relationships is true love because that's what I saw with my mama and daddy. That's what I saw with my brother and his wife. That's what I saw with my best friend and his wife. That's just the way it is. No, it's not. But you have to change it has to be a paradigm shift. They have to literally change their whole outlook on what a good relationship is because all they've had for most of their life is bad ones that they have now normalized toxic and unhealthy relationships. You ever
Let me
seen
ask you
old
this
couples?
question, Michael. Let me
Yes,
ask you
ma'am.
this question while you're talking about toxic. What happens when you bring things or iniquities from family relationships like parents? Like, let's say you grow up in a relationship where the mother or the father is toxic or abusive or verbally abusive. Do you find yourself as an adult carrying that on into your adult relationships and then you begin to live those things out in relationships with your spouse if you're lucky to have one? And how do you help a person overcome that when that's all that they see and all that they know? And then they always equate it to you or to your circumstances or your situation. Can you speak to that?
Sure. Oftentimes we call it baggage. In therapy, we call it bringing unresolved issues into a new environment. Anybody ever move from one house to another house and they say, don't be bringing that old furniture in here? You know, if it had termites in your old house, you're going to bring termites into your new house. So that's what we say. You know, you're bringing unresolved issues into your relationship. Well, no wonder your marriage didn't last. You had unresolved issues from a child. So they need work. You know, it's unfortunate. Relationships, intimate relationships like a marriage or a committed relationship, it will bring out the best and oftentimes the worst in a person because that relationship requires so much attention to where it starts you start reaching back on what you know as a relationship. And the greatest place we learn a relationship is in the home. And if that right there was your example and it didn't work or it was toxic, oftentimes you bring those unresolved issues in your new relationship. So we have to work with you on an individual level well before we could work with you at a couple level because you got some voids in your life and some holes that you're trying to fill with either excessive shopping, excessive sex, excessive gambling, excessive drinking, excessive drugging. You're trying to do it with something, or some people to avoid the whole thing, they'll just work 24/7. They'll get one
Mhm.
full-time job and then another full-time job because they really don't want to have that intimate moment with their spouse, so they work two jobs. So the only time they see their spouse is at night when they're getting a quick meal and going to bed, only to get up and do it all over again. You're avoiding the situation. And I've dealt with a lot of marriages like that. I would ask the person, why you have two jobs? We need this money. Well, yeah, do you need this relationship though? Because you got to spend time in a marriage. You do. Or any committed relationship. It takes time. So that's what I start with. Just telling them I recognize some deficits here and we need to talk about it.
So they say marriage is designed to show you who you are,
Yeah.
right? But some people, they can see that maybe they need to change. And then how do you said when you're talking to people and they're like, no, no, it's okay. That's, because that's what they're used to growing up with. Like, how do you get someone to see, like, no, that's not good behavior, or maybe their behavior is not good behavior? I mean, to me, it's like, I don't know. You
Well,
can't make a person see that they need to change. They got to see that they need to change.
I used to go with the obvious. I'm not, and I would say I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but you're sitting in my office. Why are you here? I didn't come to you. You came to me. So there's something inside of you that says something is amiss, and I'm coming to your office for help. So now that you're here, you getting upset with me because you came to me saying you know something is wrong, and I'm actually endorsing what you said. Yeah, something is wrong. Yeah, let's work on it. That's
Right,
what I'm saying.
but a lot of times you have couples that might go to counseling. You have one that wants to go to counseling. You have
Right,
the other one that was dragged to counseling,
right,
or they feel like I'm just going to support you because you're the one with the issues. I don't have any issues, and
right.
so then they don't come to counseling with an open mind of really getting to understand what their issues may be or what they're bringing. So I mean, you can have a person sitting in front of you that feel like they shouldn't be there, and their reasons for
Well,
being there is not to get help.
well, that's when I say the therapist or whomever has to be like a surgeon. You have to be real skillful with the knife so you could very systematically, cut someone open where they don't even feel that you're cutting them open. And then you have to go in there and try to work. You have to distract them a little bit. So if you and Doug came in and let's say it was you but you kept saying it was Doug, I would just mirror back to you some of the things that you don't like in Doug. You say Doug is always late. When he's late, what do you say to him? Do you tell him, honey? No, I tell that MF he need to hurry up and that's the way you tell him. You see what I'm saying? So you start hearing yourself.
Mhm.
You know what?
Mhm.
I like that because um, I designed my course to be that way. I mean, I know when
Yeah,
people come to the program that, nobody really wants to admit they
right.
got so unhealthy dysfunctional behaviors, or as I call them, self-sabotaging behaviors. No
Yeah,
one wants to really, even though they know they act up, nobody always wants to admit those things. And so I designed my class in a manner that when we get to that point, you've already done it. So when we start talking about who you are and you be like, I'm like, well, why last week you said da 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 da. Why is that not on this list? Like, but you
right.
the one said that you did that. That's funny that you said that.
Yeah. And that's all. You just kind of pair it back to them. You know what they say. Oh, I get it. So Doug is always wrong, and I love that word, always. And I say that over and over. I
I
say,
hate that word.
yeah, because he's
Oh,
not
that
all.
word.
He's not. Yeah, he's not always wrong. So tell me. So then I make you tell me about the times when he's not wrong. And I always say, well, what's the difference in the time he's wrong and the time he's always, I mean, the time he's right and the time he's always wrong? And then you will have to tell me, well, there are times where he's not late. Well, what are those times? When he go to work, he's not late. That's interesting. When he's doing something with you, he's late, but when he goes to work, he's on time. I wonder why that is. Now you got to think. Some way, somehow, I'm gonna show you that, girl,
No,
he
he
don't want
gotta
to be
think
with you.
like me. Are
Right,
you on time for work, but you late for me?
right, right. Oh, he finna get it. But my job is to bring the covert, make it overt. The thing that's covered, I want to uncover it and just put it up on the table so we can deal with it. And I don't say as you, I would go with it that it's Doug. I would talk to you on the phone and say, yeah, it sounds like your husband. Woo. I don't know, but I'm grateful you coming in the whole time. I'm saying, oh yeah, we gonna open Miss Watkins up. I'm already knowing that.
Interesting. Very
Very
interesting.
interesting. I had just said that on mute. Very interesting.
Interesting. Because, people show you who they are. I think
Mm-hmm.
Maya Angelou said it the best is that when people show you who you are, believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think sometimes, though, too, in relationships, we're so busy deflecting that we don't take responsibility for our part. It's easy to say the other person does something when, in fact, you can be guilty of that thing and not responsible for your part in it. And I think that for men, because men are fixers, they have a tendency to use those words like always and what's some of the other words, Angelina? Never or
Any,
any. They have a tendency to use
all
certain
the
words
time,
all the time.
all the
Yeah,
time.
they have a tendency to use certain words when they shouldn't, because when you're dealing with another individual that's a grown a adult. Forgive me for that. But when you're dealing with adults, you don't have the right to try to parent me or fix me, especially if I'm trying to work on myself. You work on yourself and I'll work on myself. Now it's okay to bring suggestions or if you see something, but all the time you need to fix. What is that about men? And I can't get a man to tell me yet or elaborate yet. What is it about fixing the women that you all feel that we're so broken that we need so much fixing? I guess I'm confused because if I come to you as a spouse or even as a friend, talking, maybe I just want to emote something because I'm going through something. That doesn't mean I need you to fix me. That means that I need you to listen and be understanding. You don't have to have an answer or you don't have to have a fixer or I don't always have to do something because you always do things too, but I'm not always ready to bring it to the light like you are. So, how does that work? And how can we just get along? And can somebody tell me why we always need to be fixed?
Hold on. Before he answers that, I gotta know. Michael, do y'all men feel the same way about us? Do y'all think that the women is always trying to fix you?
Yes, yes, we do. It's the way we communicate. Generally, and it's an overgeneralization. Generally, women are more verbal than men, right? So when a woman comes to you and they're telling you their problems, we go right into chivalry is not dead. There's still a part of us that's very chivalristic, whatever. And we want to be like the person that saves the day. And oftentimes, if I've learned with working with a lot of females that they don't want you to save the day, they just want you to listen. Men don't know that. Men assume you want me to do something. I mean, you told me your tire was flat. Were you just being upset about tire flat, or you want me to fix it? 9 times out of 10, you want me to fix it. You told me the trash is falling over. You want me to take it out. You told me the toilet is stopped up. You want me to plunge it, right? So likewise, when you come and you say, "Oh my God, Susie at work, this girl, da 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 da," naturally we're gonna say, "Well, it sounds like you and Susie need to say, I didn't ask you to tell me that. That's your problem. You don't listen." That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, the last 8 times you wanted me to fix it, but this one time you didn't. I'm confused. So you tell me. So men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I am convinced the way we communicate is different. We communicate differently. And I have just been blessed and privileged and honored and humbled to be in a room an hour and a half at a time, talking with women who really express themselves and have educated me on what they really want. And I would say, I was gonna write a book called Training Your Dog. And I don't mean dog like the dog like we say for men. Dog is one of the most loyal animals in the world. That dog will give their life for you, but you have to train them. Likewise, I tell women that train your man in what you want. If you start off accepting anything, you're training him that he could do anything. But if you train him, whoa, hey, on that first date, whoa, you kind of yelled at me. Now let's establish this, Jerome. You ain't gonna be talking to me like you crazy. Now let's get that, and he will start to adjust. But if you accept it one time, you're gonna accept it twice. You accept it 3 times. Now this is just where it is. So I'm saying I was writing a book called How to Train Your Dog, and it's just about talking and communicating effectively exactly what you want. Men don't get this talking around the barn or an analogy. No, don't give me an analogy. Tell me I don't need to know about this is or like and then. No, tell me exactly what you want. Well, I could have a steak or I could have a lobster. What you really want to say is you want to go to Red Lobster and get a surf and turf. Just say that. That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't have no problem saying that. Like,
I'm the
what you want
kind
to
of
eat?
girl to tell
I
you
mean,
what I
there are some.
want.
I take that back. There are sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't matter. But when I have my cravings, I'm gonna tell you I want Penn Station, or I'm gonna tell you, I want to go wherever because I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and
just say
Michael,
it. That's what I'm saying. Just say it.
I'm the kind of girl is I like to communicate. I like you to know every aspect of me and what I like, what I dislike, and so forth, no matter what area it is, be it finances, be it sex, be it relationship, whatever. I like you to know who I am so that you know what you're getting. I don't like to leave skeletons. I don't like for you not to know. And I feel like communication is key, that we talk about everything. So, you know, over the years, I've pretty much told you who I am and what I like and what I dislike or whatever. Don't keep on trying to fix me though. No, when you've been with someone for a long time, it's like shoes. When you find that comfortable shoe that fits, and you know you can go to those go-tos because you know they're going to fit and they're going to serve the purpose. They're going to help with your back, they're going to help with your legs, they're going to make it so that you're comfortable because of the journey that's ahead of you, whether it's traveling in a car or standing somewhere doing something or what have you. I think same thing in relationships. When we've um, laid out the plan and told you who we are and what we about and what we like and what we dislike. And I have allowed you to do the same thing and still saying, okay, when I come to you and it's about someone else or something else, I just want to talk. I don't want you to fix me. I don't want you to straighten it out. Um, just listen, just be the support. Why can't we just get the support?
Well, I'm gonna admit something. I don't speak for
Please.
all men. I know that's shocking, but I don't speak for all men.
I think
But
you speak
What?
for a lot. I think you speak for 99% of them, but go ahead.
Dion, you said something that was interesting that I really want to talk more about. You said you want your man to know about your finances, about, sex, you want to know everything. To some men that have grown up in a house where their dad didn't talk or he couldn't communicate, that might be overwhelming to a man. That might be information overload,
Too much.
which will cause him to either recoil or just hunker down where he'll just do what we call the distracted listen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Michael, Michael, Michael. Now you
Mm-hmm.
sure that's just not all men? Because I remember, I remember when I bought my house and I bought a foreclosure for the purpose of fixing it up, and I'd have that equity and all of that. And so the guy came to give me, now this is before me and Doug got married or whatever, but the guy came over to give me a quote on redoing my gutters and my garage door. And he started like, giving me all these tips about, we were talking about how I'm going to redecorate and the things that I could do. And he said, he told me, now he don't even know Doug. He ain't never met Doug, nothing. And he told me to make sure that when you go back to your boyfriend and you tell him what you want to do, only tell him one project at a time. Because if you tell him all the stuff you want to do to this house, it's gonna overwhelm him. He's not gonna hear you, and you're not gonna get what you want. So you need to go to him with one thing at a time. Like, this is what I want to do to the kitchen, and only talk about the kitchen, and wait to talk about another room another day. So you sure that's just not all men?
Yeah, all right, all right. I'll say this. I'm similar. So I'll use Sarah. So Sarah and I were planning the wedding, and we also, getting a house, and a couple other things. So I was like, no, no, Sarah. I said, for me, and she'll tell you if she was here. For me, I'm like a domino. I need this domino to fall so that it hit that domino. But I know the end goal is we want to have a nice, beautiful reception and we want to do this. But I said, Sarah, I need to do it in segments first. I'm planful. I said, I don't go to another project before I finish this project. But that's just how I think. I'm very like I compartmentalize everything. And for me, it has to be in order. And if you tell me you would want to do this, and this, I said, no, 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 no. We got to wait. We got to wait. Like in the first 30 days, let's take care of this. Then that will help take care of this. That's what I'm saying. I'm systematic like that. And I think one, helps or deflects from the other. That's why it has to go in order. where she's just like, look, we could do it all at one time. To me, that's chaos. And I think that's how some women are. Y'all
That's
just chaotic. That's
creativity. That is
chaos.
creativity.
Yes.
That's
That's what
chaos.
that is.
I've been able to manage several things at a time.
It's called talented.
Well,
Yes.
speaking
That's
for
very,
men,
Yes.
very talented.
Yes. Yes.
and my battery about to
But
go out,
that's
I'm gonna switch
okay.
over to my
That's okay.
phone.
Stay. And Michael, that's okay. Stay in your lane. If you can't handle it, that's fine. Just let her move and do what she do without a whole lot of judgment, and just trust that at the end of the day that she got your best interest.
Well,
Let her do what she do.
I ain't trying to be funny, but when you need my wallet to help you do what you do, oh yeah,
That's
we're gonna have
right.
a
She
conversation.
didn't say she didn't want your wallet, but you have the inability to do more than one task at a time. She has
All
the
right.
ability to flow through many tasks. So, therefore, you should be able to trust that she has y'all's best interest at heart and she gonna do the right thing. So, yes, you need your wallet.
I don't think it's about trust, Miss Dion. She got a wallet too, but I'm just saying, hold on, let me click off this one.
Uh-oh.
Nah, we good. This is
Okay.
better.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, it's the way my mind works. So her and we got to be on the same page. And if she ain't on the same page with me, then you know what I'm saying. Then we got a problem. Cause nah, I ain't even gonna go there.
I
She
was gonna
might
say
be
I was
you
about
fixing
to
listening.
to
say,
set
what
you
the heck?
fixing to set yourself
Whoa,
up.
whoa,
You
whoa.
better stop.
Whoa,
You
whoa.
better stop. You better hold up.
Look, now he hiding his face.
Right, you better hold up. We better
No, I'm
stop
not.
this
I'm trying to get this
conversation
stupid
before she
headphones.
listening. We need to stop this
Listen,
conversation because she probably
it's
listening.
a it's about I understand where you're going, right? Y'all, you want to be able to talk to each other and agree on some things, have some win-win, but at some point there has to be acknowledging what her strengths are and allowing her to work in her strengths and trusting that she's working in her strengths and that she's going to make good decisions. But that doesn't mean that she's going to make all the decisions, not considering what you want, what you need to do, and that we're using your wallet. But it's a matter of, okay, I can only concentrate on one thing. So I'm gonna let you do your thing if you could do more than one thing, and then you can circle back around me and talk to me about them one at a
Yeah.
time. You can
All
talk about
right.
me different every day, but you're gonna let her plan out the things that she needs to plan out and not hold her back because she can move and she can keep that thing
Wait,
going.
can
But
we do
then
this real quick? Real quick. If she's listening, I need her to type in or something so I know what to
hold
say
on.
and what not to say, Because
You
I
trying to get in trouble with that?
what it say,
Oh.
Mike, your friend is like that. I can't tell him more than one. But it's no, Melissa, that's not cool. See, y'all making us sound like we slow. No, we
Y'all are.
systematic.
You
We
slow.
systematic.
You're slow. You're slow. That was a good word. I second that motion. You're slow.
We're not trying to tell you you're slow.
I
Well, let's
can't
start
tell.
believing we
Yeah,
are.
Gary said I am not slow.
Right, Gary. That's right. That's right. We ain't slow.
We're not saying that y'all are slow, but what we are saying is that perhaps Sarah just said he listens though. You do listen. We're not saying y'all are slow.
Oh,
We're not even saying that y'all don't listen. But if you're only capable of doing one thing at a time and she can do more than one thing at a time, then let her work within her being, right? You don't want to stifle who she is and what she's capable of doing just because you're not. And it doesn't mean that she won't come back and circle around with you. I could plan out several things and then bring one thing to you at a time, but that's not going to stop my planning. It's not going to stop my execution. It's not going to stop my phone calls. It's not going to stop my creativity of whatever I got to make on the computer. So that's all we're saying is don't in that systematic process, Don't
Right.
stifle her creativity and who she is and what she's able to handle.
Right.
But Gary said he fully understands you, Mike.
Right. So, I agree. Let me
Of
tell
course
you,
he does.
for
He a male.
right. Men are from Mars. I keep trying to tell you that. So for me, uh intellect, stick to itness, creativity, that's so attractive to me. I love it. What I'm saying, but when we're doing stuff together, and this is a great topic, and that we don't kind of went off on unhealthy and
I
toxic,
know.
but it works
But
because
that
this is,
toxic.
But
yeah,
it
but
can be
it
toxic.
can. If you ask anybody that work on houses, if you are redoing your house, it can tear up your relationship, because if you and your wife are not on the same page, y'all will be arguing about stuff, and it really is an analogy to your relationship. This is how y'all decide things. This is how things does not get decided. You'll hear her say, "See there, he always trying to tell me what to do. I know what to do. I know if I want, marble counters. I know if I want, hardwood floors. See, there he is. Always." Then he gonna be like, "Wait a minute, where is this coming from?" So it can expose you. Working on a house can really expose cracks in your own relationship. So when someone told me that, we're gonna redo our house, I said, "Y'all gonna have to come in twice a week." And they started laughing. I said, "Trust me, y'all about to go through some stuff, because you're gonna see how really people think, because their opinion does matter." And I love that about Sarah. She has her own mind, but she's very careful and kind with her words. She know I don't understand it. She'll say, "Hey, babe, I think," she don't try to, like they say, mansplain it. She don't try to woman explain it. She'll say, "Babe, I think we just on the wrong page right now." And she'll say, "This is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, I think we need to paint the wall blue, and you want it to be green. So we need to talk about how we're gonna compromise." I could get with that. But when she say no, because blue means cool, and it means I don't need to know all that. I just know I want green. That's what I'm saying. So I
Well,
say,
no,
you're giving me
I
too
need to
much
go to I need
information.
to go to
you're
Sarah's
talking about a
effective
compromise.
communication 101 class.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Slow it down for us. Slow. I'm not saying we slow, but slow it down.
You're talking about a compromise. Nothing's wrong with compromise, and we should always be willing to do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I think what Angelina is talking about is the ability to, some women have the ability to do several things at a time. So that doesn't mean just because I have the ability to plan and to figure it out or whatever, doesn't mean that I'm going to go on ahead and do it without trying to seek your approval. It just means that I should have the ability to do that. And if I have the order, if that's a strength, you should trust
yeah,
that. That's like the finances in the family. If you're the weaker one and with the finances, and you don't do as great a job as I do, you should be able to trust me that I have the ability to do it if I can do it and get it done. For years, my husband didn't want the responsibility, although he's the better manager. I had to do it for years because he didn't want to. It wasn't until years later that he decided to take it over. I felt so free, like, thank you, God, because I felt like, okay, I'm on my P's and Q's trying to make sure I don't do this, that, and the third. It was just exhausting to me, but because he
yeah,
didn't want to do it, somebody had to do it. I mean, all the bills got paid. I didn't let nothing get turned off or nothing, but just that whole, I hate it. Now, I'm this kind of person. If I give you a job to do, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. You don't have to talk to me. You don't have to ask me no questions. You pay the bills, make sure nothing don't get cut off me, and you good. My car, I can drive my car and don't worry about having to go outside and it's not there. Me and you good. You want to redecorate the house, you don't have to ask for my permission. Do whatever you want to do. That's not my strength. I recognize my strength and what I'm capable of, and if that's not something that I'm capable of, you're not going to get a whole lot of back and forth or disagreement with me about that. Do you, because I feel like that's your strength, and if that's what God gave you and that's how you operate, then operate it and be the best that you can be. Just afford me the same thing. Now, that's just my personality, and my personality will allow me to do that. My husband is a great decorator. He'll come in a room and he'll turn this room around, my soap room. He's come in my soap room and turned it all the way around. It don't bother me that he turned it around. He made it more efficient for me. Uh, I probably could see it, but I couldn't put it together. but he has the know-how. He didn't have to ask me if it was okay for him to put some brackets and stuff up here. He just went to the store and did it. He kind of threw it out at me that that's what he was going to do. He moved some tables and stuff around, put some different tables in here, bought a cabinet for me and did some things, made it look actually very nice, like a really good, nice office work setting. And I'm so happy that he did that. I would have never been able to do that. And it didn't bother me that he didn't ask me, you know, honey, you want the wall blue? You want it right yellow? I don't care. Just make it functional. But I know everybody don't have that personality. Okay, I know that's a personality type of mind that everybody don't have, and I can operate in that and it not be a threat to me that you can move and have your being and do what you do if that's your power and if that's your strength. Just allow me the same thing. That's all I ask.
Okay. I know I have there's a song by India Ari, and it's really talks about for me what a really good healthy relationship is. It's called Steady Love. And you really, it would be nice to hear that song because it talks about how you could be this way over here, but with me, you're kind and you're gentle and you're understanding and you're a good listener. But when I need you, like I said before one time on here, uh, in my experience, a wife or a woman or a maid or whatever, she don't need her man to always be Black Panther. She need him to be T'Challa. But when the time is right, she needs you to be Black Panther. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you have to be able to know the difference. You don't want to be Black Panther to your woman. You'll tear her all up. But well, that's a different thing. But you want to be T'Challa, the very knowledgeable, the very astute, the very careful with his words. And that's what the song Steady Love is talking about. He's careful with his words. He just don't fly off at the lip with me and then have to come back and, apologize. Apologizing starts losing its weight the second or the third time you apologize for the same thing.
They say what change behavior is the best apology. And I know, you can get
Absolutely.
sick and tired of apologies. Well, we got a couple comments here that's probably going to lead us into our next conversation because we're almost to the top of the hour. But Gary said, I can hand over the things I can't do easily. However, when I am doing what I am good at, don't look over my shoulder or tell me how you would have done it. I think I'm like that as
Absolutely.
well. Like, let
Absolutely.
me move in my being. What I'm good at, what I know,
Absolutely.
let me work in my strength, and where I'm weak, I'm gonna, look to get help somewhere because I don't mind admitting that I
Absolutely.
don't know something. But when I know that I know something, then I just need to be able to work, and that's at home, at work, wherever it may be. What if I am moving and my talents, and then I just need to be able to move in my talents, and I don't like to be micromanaged when it comes to things like that, like, because now I feel stifled, I feel like I'm in a cage, and I just need you to let me flourish in what I flourish in, right?
Right.
And I've never liked it when someone who don't know my job. You don't even know my job, but you want to tell me what to do. Like, I have a problem with that sometimes. But um and that was kind of the main thing that I was saying earlier when I said if she's able to do more than one thing, let her flourish in her being, because that's who she is and that's when she's doing her best. And it doesn't mean that she's going to leave you out, but she doesn't have to make me concentrate on one thing because Michael can only concentrate on one thing. I'm gonna concentrate on multiple things. Then I'm gonna come back around and say, okay, Michael, this is what I planned out. What you think? This is what I
Yeah.
got on. We're gonna come to you on different days though.
Right.
Hey, Michael, this is what I got. What you think? You got any
Yeah.
input? You got any changes? I mean, because that's how I am. Because I'll sit here and I will draw it out. Now, I'm not an artist like that, but I'll sit here and draw up what I want my basement to look like and what I wanted my outside to look like, down to the rocks and everything else. Because I know my husband's a visual. He's a visual person. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to plan it all out and I'm going to have all these visuals. And today I'm going to talk to you about the backyard. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about the front yard. And then the week
Yeah.
after that, we'll talk about the basement, right? But I have
Yeah.
it all drawn out
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he can see it. And then now at this point, I feel accomplished because I got a chance to plan out what I want. I bring it to him. What do you want? Do you have any tweaks? Do you disagree? Can I just go with it? And then you can then make those decisions together. Um, Melissa said she does the finances because Gary's not good at it, but a procrastinator will hurt a relationship. So now that's what I'm talking about. That's going to get us into next week because I did want to talk about that, and we ran out of time, but I want to talk about these unhealthy, dysfunctional behaviors that show up as a result from unaddressed wounds.
Mm.
And procrastination, whether people want to believe it or not, is a self-sabotaging behavior. And it comes from some wounds. There's something that's causing you not to move. There's something that's causing you to wait. There's something that's causing you to be so hesitant, so skeptical, and afraid and fearful. And I want to next week, we're going to talk about those unaddressed wounds and the dysfunctional behavior that they cause, right? Because we have some dysfunctional behaviors from our upbringing because we are a product of our environment. But some of these dysfunctional behaviors we also get from being wounded.
Yeah.
And well, I guess I gotta say, and those wounds could be your upbringing, but some of those wounds are things that have happened to you as well. So that's what I want to get into next week. So we're at the top of the hour. What's your send offs?
Well, always ladies
Just
first.
all right. Just want to say that, accept your strengths and where you are and who you are. Develop yourself. It's important that before you judge someone or before you try to fix someone, figure out what fixing you need in yourself first. It's important that we be intentional about our own emotional well-being. There's some things that we can always tweak and fix in ourselves. Sometimes there are things that we need to fix that we like to deflect because it makes us feel better if we can see some similarities in our partners and our friends or whoever. So if we just take the time and evaluate ourselves, Michael, you said it one time and I said it one time before, if we just take a good look at the man in the mirror and recognize that that man in the mirror has some flaws. And if we work on who we are and being a better version of that person, then we'll make room for our spouses, our friends, our family members so that we don't continue to bring the baggage from our family members or from our parents that they've given us and we have to sit and rest and try to live out. We can create something different. So, like I always say, if you don't like who you are, remember you teach who you are. And if you don't like what you're teaching, teach something different, change who you are, be somebody better for the people around you, especially your children. That's it.
My takeaways is these are the signs that you're in a toxic relationship. If you're constantly being demeaned, if they're holding you to a standard that they don't hold, if they're purposely withholding something from you, if they're treating you unkind, treating you unjust, if they are retreating, if they are doing anything outside of the marriage or the relationship and they know you know and they don't care, you're in a toxic relationship. Ask yourself, is this the way I want to live my life? Is this the way I want my children to see how a relationship is? Because if it's not, then do something different. And in the end, I always say, be kind, be humble, be kind, and be healthy.
All right, y'all.
Amen.
We're going to get on out of here. All that Michael talked about, we're going to get into this, y'all. We're going to talk about this month. These toxic relationships and these dysfunctional behaviors and the self-sabotaging behaviors that we bring into these relationships. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining us every Monday. We're here at 8 o'clock. And I'm just going to say, as always, be unbothered. See you
Peace.
next time.
See ya.